and she is with me this morning. We'll get into why I think that. And we're going to talk about the importance of having an idea of how your day stacks up. Good morning and welcome back to North Dakota Today.
Good morning.
You know, you are one of the busiest people I know. And if you didn't have your planner, you wrote things down, you documented things, you would be in trouble. But you have become so good at it that you make it look effortless.
You know, I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. It's not effortless because it does take some thought. I think a lot of people get the feeling that they're held captive by a schedule and they're scared of a schedule, but a schedule actually frees up your time. And I still have the old school paper planner. When I was meeting with the tax person, they were asking something about 2 years ago, and I'm like, actually, I have that right here.
That's right.
And on paper, I didn't have to worry about if I lost my phone or anything like that. But I really believe in organization, and it's just so important for every aspect of your life and making your life easier.
Now, how do you approach it? Do you take it a day at a time, a week at a time? How do you approach when you are making a plan for however far ahead you want to go?
Well, so, you know, for me, I have a bigger calendar, and there's pieces, right? Like there's staples. And this is even how I organize people that I train.
Right.
We know on this date we want to do this. We know on this date we want to do this. And then we fill in the pieces. I like to go week by week and day by day because life changes, right? So even when I coach people, I don't like to give you what you're doing 3 weeks because a lot can happen today, right? So I really try to not get lost in the future and I try to stay present for today. But you still have the big goals in mind.
You know, and that's one thing and I'm playing devil's advocate here. People are going to say, I don't want to plan out my whole day because if something goes wrong, then everything is upside down. How do you respond to that?
So we have to live on priorities, and life is always going to go wrong.
Sure.
Right. I mean,
every
day is
day.
an obstacle course management,
Yep,
right?
that's true.
So I prioritize my day, and there's blocks of things. And I know I have to get this done at 10 a.m. I know I needed to be here today at this time. I know I have clients at 3 o'clock today. Anything in between there is where I fill in what's on my to-do list, what's important to me, working out, whatever it might be. So having those blocks that are organized, no matter what, we know we have to do that and we have to follow through. And I am a firm believer that anything on a to-do list isn't important.
Sure.
Right? Because that's where the important stuff that's not quite important enough goes to die. Because if it's it's true.
It's true.
If it's really important, you put it on your schedule.
Now, you work with people all day long, every day, and people have things come up. So somebody has to pull out for certain things. How do you go about filling in the gaps or continuing the fluidness of your day when something does go wrong?
Well, you know, I think we have to learn that there's no such thing as perfect, and we have to let go of inconveniences. Or I think oftentimes if I know there's people that if you don't answer their phone call, they get mad at you, and then when you call them back, they won't answer because it's not on their time. We have to let go of that attitude and seize the moment, right? Like carpe diem, you know, like seize the day. So if things aren't going right or you have to make those adjustments, we have plenty of things to fill our time.
Sure.
Right? And then if we have a schedule, that person that needs to reschedule, or if the doctor canceled, or the shockwave machine isn't working, you know when you can put that back in.
Okay. Now, one of the things that you talk about frequently, no matter what the topic is how important it is to A, prioritize yourself, B, make time for yourself. How do you go about doing that? And I look at you because you're so busy all the time, yet you never seem rushed in what you're doing. How do you go about making time for yourself?
I have to fill my cup first. Okay, and I think a lot of people might find that selfish, but it's not. So if I don't fill my cup, I can't keep pouring into others. And nobody deserves a 20% April. Right? Everyone deserves as close to 100% as I can give them. And if I'm not sleeping, if I'm not taking the time to eat, if I'm not taking the time to recharge my battery, then you get a ran down me. And nobody deserves that. So I always want to take care of me. I always want to make sure that I take the time, once again, to prioritize myself.
Right.
And it's just really important.
You know, and it was a couple of weeks ago, you and Krista were talking about, you know, taking advantage of the things that your garden is producing and how important food is. Food has to be prioritized too, doesn't it?
It does for you, for your family. So you should always be prepared, right? So if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail.
Exactly.
So in my car, I literally have like 3 bags with different types of food in them.
curious.
in my studio, there's a fridge downstairs with all kinds of different food in it. Upstairs, there's food at my studio, because I always want to make sure I'm taking care of me and I'm feeding myself, mentally and physically. And I don't want to get stuck trying to go to, or like go through McDonald's.
Exactly.
I couldn't even say that.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I
Going
can't
through
eat there.
anytime
Right?
you have to go through a fast food because you failed to plan.
Yeah, and you want to take care of the kids too, right? You want to make sure that you're feeding them quality food. You want to make sure that your spouse has quality food. If you're going out on the river, right, and you're out on the boat, you want to make sure you have quality stuff. You don't want to have to just stop and eat garbage.
Right.
Right?
Well, and with kids' schedules, now that school has started again and things like that, taking care of them, where do you prioritize them? Is that after you take care of yourself first?
Well, it depends on your schedule.
Sure.
So I'm a person that filling my cup and getting my workout in and doing that is one of the first things I do typically. But I mean, there are days that I see clients first and then I do this first and then I take care of myself. So I think that's going to depend on the person because some people might like to sleep in.
Right.
For me, if I have to wait until 6 p.m. to work out, I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, I need to do this today. But also that's a mindset too because we get to take care of ourselves. We get to take care of our kids. We are so fortunate to be able to, influence their lives with our decisions and we get to make them quality food. Right? And it's just a different way to think about it.
How important is going to the grocery store with a list?
It's really important. So it's like, I can't believe I love to go in and like touch things and see things and I love brick and mortar, but I saved so much money during COVID when you would just order your groceries.
Because you weren't going, ooh, I should grab this.
I need this and I need this.
Yep.
Having a list keeps you prepared. And, some people really like to have menus for every day, things like that. I'm more of a free choice kind of person.
Really? See, I would have thought that you had your meals planned out for days in advance. No.
Nope. I'll make like 2 pounds of meat and then I'll have a whole bunch of vegetables and I'll have eggs and then I'll just kind of decide what I feel like. But I'll have like the ingredients, but I don't know tacos tonight, spaghetti tomorrow, because who knows what you feel like.
Exactly. Now, we're down to under a minute left, and I want to ask you this. You talked, too, about making grocery shopping and meal preparation, the whole thing, a family affair.
Yeah, so, the more, because sometimes we do feel selfish, right? Like, I want to work out. Like, if you can take your kids with you. Like, there's so much awesome stuff at the parks, right? When you cook, teach your kids how to cook and to enjoy cooking and get them off their phone or get them off their social media and have them involved because those are life skills, but it's also family memories. Like baking cookies together. Why can't you cook food together and peel vegetables and learn how to do that? Because those are real life skills that are going to help you long term. Okay, not only this lady busy with everything that you've done and a world-class athlete, now you're also a cross-country coach. You've taken that on. Yeah,
congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
That must be quite an opportunity for these athletes to work with someone who's accomplished what you have in the sport.
It's also an opportunity for me because, I really want to teach our youth. I want to teach our adults. I want to teach everyone that it's okay to be okay. And to feel good and to fuel good. Our first practice, no one had ate that morning. And I'm like, you can't even be on this team if you don't eat. Just teaching people how to take care of themselves and teach them things that I wish I knew when I was younger.
There's a lot more to coaching than just coaching the actual sport itself.
It's all about making the individual.
Exactly. And that's why, April, I still revere some of my high school coaches with the highest regard, just simply because of the lessons they taught me about life. Where do we find more information?
At AprilLundFitness.com, GYS Track Club, and thanks for everything. It's been a great day.
All right, April Lund, we appreciate you being in on the holiday.